Hello and welcome back to Pass the Torch, Legacies in Jewelry. My name is Nadja de Sa Van Diest and I am setting up my gouache station today. Everyone has to start somewhere. I am brand new to this and I am going to be building it from the ground up and bringing you along with me. Gouache, for those of you who don't know, is what I consider to be one of the high jewelry art forms. It's not physical jewelry, but it's hand-painted renderings of fine jewelry or gemstones. And not everyone does it. I don't think everybody can. It's not valued by a capitalism market, best jewelry. It's really valued by the high jewelry houses. And I would love to develop the habit of making gouache renderings of my pieces for the fact that, you know, when the pieces go out into the world, they're no longer yours. And having a hand rendering of something that I have created, put 200 hours into, something of that caliber, that would be a way for me to catalog my work throughout my life. I'm going to be in this career for at least 40 years. I'm fully committed. I'm in it. I'm doing everything to the most professional caliber that I can. And so keeping a workshop journal and starting to learn how to gouache some pieces are both things that Michael Robinson have taught me, and I want to instill them into my daily habits. I will be bringing you along with me. All of this is new to me, and so if you see something and you're more experienced and you want to point it out to me, please feel free. I look forward to connecting and learning and doing all of this in the most authentic, artisan way I possibly can. You know, I got on Instagram the other day and kind of talked about how I am particularly interested in hand fabrication, and that's not to dock CAD or CAD renderings of pieces. It's just not what I value, and that's okay. Again, this podcast is not for everybody. It's not intended to be for everybody. I am just someone who values the artisan aspect of jewelry making, and that doesn't mean doing it quickly, and that doesn't mean doing it the cheapest way possible. It means keeping what is precious, precious, and doing that in a way that's incredibly intimate and authentic. So I will be, you know, putting all of this together and sharing it with you the most authentic way that I can. I have put together a Amazon list of the things that I purchased, and Michael Robinson has a slightly different setup than me, and so you can compare and contrast as to what is best for you. But I am curating this for me, my budget, what I hope to invest in, and what I hope to get out of it in return. So I hope you enjoy. Here we go. All right, let's do a little artist haul, shall we? If I can get my camera set up. Okay, very first thing is I purchased what I'm going to be calling workshop journals. So Michael Robinson has these really beautiful ones that I will link below that I quite frankly just couldn't afford. But I just got these off of Amazon. They're paperage notebooks, and I got a red one to start cataloging my thoughts for Pass the Torch, because the branding for Pass the Torch Legacies in Jewelry is this same color red. And then I got a blue one for de Sa Jewelry, which is eventually going to be my jewelry brand. You can follow it on Instagram. I'm not quite ready to launch that yet, but when I do, the branding will also be blue. So this helps my brain catalog which place I'm going. And this one I actually got lined because I'm just going to be jotting down thoughts in it. However, this one I'm going to be sketching and drawing in, and so that's why this is actually unlined. These are blank pages. For the date stamp, because I really wanted them to be authentically date stamped, I purchased this like old style date stamp where you have to actually dip it into the pad of ink. I don't like those automatic ones. I find it incredibly annoying to try to change the ink pad on those. So I can quickly, you know, throw this away, get a new one, and I don't really care if this gets my hands dirty, because my hands are always dirty because I work on a jewelry bench. So this came in a great little pocket sized container. I don't know. And so I will be keeping this on the desk as well. And I'm going to have the daily habit of writing in both notebooks. In the workshop journal blue version, I will be putting down hours worked, what I was working on, the piece, materials, all of that for logging. And then on this, it's just ideas, interview thoughts, who I want to interview next, all of that. So that's a good place to start in regards to what I purchased, because I kind of went on a little shopping spree. Next up is the paints. So this is where Michael and I differ. I got this really cool set of 100 watercolors. And this brand is Gansai Tambi. And I just want to point out that I think it's really confusing that we call this art form gouache when very often it's mostly done in watercolor. But I digress. It's just watercolor. It's just watercolor renderings. And if you want to correct me on that, feel free. But these are Japanese paints. They're pan paints and they're beautiful. They come with all of these colors, and I'm going to actually later today go in and hand paint the palettes, and there are 4 levels of this. So this is just one palette right here. Look how beautiful those paints are. And they're non-toxic. I'm really excited to use them and kind of discover what is best for me. Michael Robinson uses a more limited palette but a higher quality paint, and so he just mixes his own paints, and I figured that, you know, I was doing this on the side, and if I wanted a very specific shade, I didn't want to have to try to finagle it until I got it. I just kind of wanted to have the color there, and when you have 100 options, you can pretty much find what you need right off the bat. So that is the watercolor that I purchased. And so the one that Michael Robinson has, again, I'll link below because he does it a little bit differently. This was still expensive. Watercolors, high, nice, professional watercolors are still incredibly expensive, but you can pick, you can choose. It's make your own. The one thing that is actually gouache, so the difference, let me clarify. The difference between gouache and watercolor is that watercolor has translucency to it, and gouache is entirely opaque. So the one true gouache item that I did purchase is this Winsor & Newton Designer's Gouache Permanent White Paint. And this is completely opaque. It's gonna be for highlights. I got a big tube of it because I intend to use it. So that is just the main categorical difference between watercolor and gouache. Okay, next up, these, I almost like don't know if I want to share these because this is a really good tip, but Michael Robinson showed me these. These are like artist paint pens, and in this gray palette, they make for really nice shadows. So you basically paint the entire piece, and then you can go in with this and just add the shadow, and it totally elevates the whole look of the gouache painting. And this is a really, really good hack. And I'm like, should I even share this? Should I cut that part out? Like, it makes such a big difference to have a little contoured shadow underneath the piece. So Michael Robinson has these really beautiful, nice watercolor paint brushes. That was not in my budget. They're all like Japanese, handmade, gorgeous. So I got the dupe. So the dupe is these, and I will, again, I have an Amazon cart list, whatever you want to call it, that I will be linking below, where you can go in and see what I paid for all of this, the links, all of that. I will also include a few of the things that he has that I don't. So I was fine with these, but I have a lot of acrylic paints as well. I did not want to overlap my acrylic brushes with the watercolor brushes, so I got new brushes because I am an acrylic painter and I have been for a really long time, and so this is going to be different. One thing that I'm really excited about is these fine tech watercolors that are pearlescent. And so I made this palette. So you buy the box and then you can custom choose which little canisters of paint you want in them. And I purchased these metallic ones because I am limited in budget. I use a lot of silver and not solid gold. But I do, when I can, Kimbu, which is a Korean technique to depletion gild the 925 silver and fuse on the like super thin gold sheet onto the surface, and then it makes it look gold. I actually think I have an example right here. This is a cuff that I made, and it's a silver cuff. I'm still working on it. I'm gonna set some stones into it, but it looks like a gold cuff because I have fused 22 karat gold all to the surface. So that is what I'm hoping to use these for, because there's a lot of color change in that gold. I'm hoping to be able to depict that in this range here. And then also in my patina, I always patina my silver. I never leave it unpatinaed. And I feel like this range here is gonna allow me to show the depth of the patina. So this is the Fine Tech brand. I got it at Meininger's. If you have a local fine art store, that is where I purchased most of these, and I really wanted to support my local small business. So most of the paints and whatnot I purchased at Meininger's. Again, there was a few things that I purchased from Amazon, but when I can shop small, I try to. So next thing, because I think it's really important to paint to scale, right? Because if you're showing a client a rendering and it is larger than life, and then you deliver the final product to them and it is not what they thought, that is a recipe for disaster. So for me, it's really important to be exact in my renderings. And so I did get this geometry kit. This I did buy off of Amazon. It has, you know, compasses and rulers, all of the things needed to be really precise in your measurements. I thought that was an important purchase for me, but some people have a natural talent to just be super exact, and good for them. For the paper, because I think it's really important to choose the paper that you use really wisely. I like using mixed media paper, and then Michael Robinson showed me that he used toned gray. And so I got it in a couple sizes. I got it in this small size because, again, I'm trying to paint to scale. So I don't know if I'll be doing, you know, any pieces that are larger than this. Probably not. But if I did, and if I do, I did purchase this larger version. But I'll probably reserve that for the once in a blue moon big necklace that I do. I also did end up wanting to buy this black mixed media paper. I am intrigued by it. I know it'll be harder, but I'm gonna play around with that. I have also seen this mixed media paper in like a very light blue, which I think is really beautiful. And I also wanna play around with that at some point. But that's basically what I purchased. Oh, one more thing. I intend to sign all of my pieces. And I thought it would be really cool if I did it with a true, you know, ink pen, if you will. So I got this jar of ink, and this is just pure black ink, and this metal tip Japanese pen here, which was actually not that expensive. I think it was like $4 or something like that. And I think my signature is really beautiful. I've spent a lot of time perfecting my signature, and so I want to do it in a fun way. Again, make it authentic, make it personal. And so I will be signing all of my pieces via true dip the pen in the ink fashion.
So here you see me cleaning out a space that I'm going to permanently designate as my sort of art corner, my painting corner. I'm completely out of space in my shop, and that's fine. I wouldn't want to keep my paints in my shop anyways, but I wanted a designated permanent installation because I want to remove any barrier to entry to help me get started. When something is permanently set up and ready to go and it looks beautiful and it's an inspired space, it just feels much more approachable. And when there's more ritual in creativity, I feel like I'm more inclined to sit down and actually spend the time really investing in making things and that goes across anything. That goes across my shop too. That's why I try to keep my shop clean. But I'm very meticulous about where everything goes, and I want it to feel presentable to not only others, but also to myself, so that it's just approachable. And then the camera started slipping.
Okay, so for the updated tour of the space here, I have all my mixed media paper up here, the metallic watercolors here, paintbrushes in here. I've got pens and erasers and pencils, compasses, measuring tools. Over here I'm going to have rulers. And then here I have those pens that I was talking about. So this is going to be my painting space. It's a nice hard surface. I've got my stamp right here, the actual gouache paint that Michael Robinson recommended to me, the ink stamp there, both of my journals, and later today I will be going in and making the palettes for all of these watercolors. I'm really excited for that. I also purchased this desk off of Facebook Marketplace, and I got it because I loved the color, and it matches my easel that I have had since I was 8 years old and have been painting on. You can see how much paint buildup I have there, but I have every intention of also setting up my acrylic station right here. So this will be watercolor and this will be acrylic, and it'll just be here ready for me whenever I feel the itch to come down and paint. I hope you found this video helpful. I found it really intimidating to get started on any of this, to be honest. The jewelry making, the gouache, all of it. But I think the more we have and open up the conversation about all of us just doing our best, trying new things, putting ourselves out there, it makes it more fun, it's more community, it's more engaging. I'm being really honest about where I'm at and what I'm doing and what I'm up to, and if you have any comments, you can leave them down below. Please like and subscribe. If you have any advice or tips, I would love to see them, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.